So we are currently in Twisp, Carlton. Near Twisp, 20 to 15 minutes away from Twisp. And we've been learning about the Methow people and valley.
I mean, we've been learning about like wildlife restoration, ecosystems.
Yes.
The history of the Methow and how the people who live here are kind of coming together around the indigenous groups that this is their place, and they're coming together to try to begin the process of restoration and returning that land to those people.
Okay, so Meadowbrook Farm is the farm that we're currently sleeping at, and it's a organic farm. Like, it's just a small local farm, organic farm. Very cool, though. Very cool. Yeah, they grow a bunch of stuff, mostly at this point in the season, kale and what else? Tomatoes. Peppers.
Hella peppers.
Yeah.
Can I say that?
Hella peppers.
I really like this place because it reminds me of a farm that I worked on in high school, and I thought it was really cool how well he knew this land and how obviously connected he was to it,
yeah.
But also how he was aware that like it wasn't his land and he was just here doing things on someone else's land, and how he had kind of worked his interest and his passion into the landscape.
Yeah.
Cool. Going back, what did you think of Willow Kip and the Blackfeet Bison Project?
That was super cool. That was really, really cool. Like seeing that buffalo like so close, like they're so different than most animals that I've ever seen, like ever. They're like really the two things that I thought were really, really interesting. Them just being close and like looking at us, like it looked like they had like personalities and stuff, and that they were like looking into my soul. Like they had, they had their own like thought process going on. They just like had so much dimension to them without like even thinking about like cultural dimensions, like significance of them as an animal, like just being next to them was really, really cool.
When they know one of them's gonna pass away or is getting hunted, they will like, cause the way when you hunt them, we have trucks now, right? So you have to, when we're following them around, and sometimes when we have to put them down for a harvest, they know when that's gonna happen, and they'll herd around the one that we're looking at trying to put down, and they'll herd around it and like protect it and basically keep it in the center of around like 4 or 5 of them so we can't get to it.
It's hard to believe. I think similarly with like the keystone species like beaver and salmon, like it's hard to believe how many buffalo like inhabited this landscape before they were wiped out by colonizers. Like, it was so cool to be able to see them in their natural habitat. And obviously, like Willow talked about how the acreage that they have for those buffalo is not nearly what they want it to be, but just to be able to see those animals on that land and hear her talk about her ancestral connections with the land, but their connections with the land, like those animals have been there for longer than we have, and to think that like we're in control of them now is really freaky, but very powerful to see up close.
Yeah. Plus, I mean, like, my perception of buffalo was that they were like these really aggressive animals, and that like you shouldn't get close to them because they might like get you. And like obviously they were accustomed to humans.
Yeah.
They were more domesticated than the other herd that was there also.
Yeah, that was just the fact that she was like, oh, we don't want to go in there. They might get you. And then we were just standing in a circle of buffaloes.
And like they were surrounding. That was crazy. One thing with like the cows versus buffaloes thing that Willow was talking about that I was really like I thought was super, super, super cool was like how she was talking about how it had been like 100 years of cattle ranching and like after colonization and like cattle mentality, and that how you have to like take another 100 years to get back into this buffalo ranching mentality. So like how do you get back to this wild wild buffalo mentality. I thought that was really cool.
I don't remember if it was Willow or someone entirely different that we were talking to, but like having buffalo on this land and like interfering with cattle ranchers, and like when buffalo get on your ranching land and how upset that made ranchers and how they wanted to like literally wage war on these buffalo.
Yeah.
And just the way that she talked about it, like so nonchalant. I totally lost my train of thought there, but like the fact that like I guess like if I was a rancher and I was on like fourth is that the cow? Is he coming?
What's his name?
But like if I guess if I was a rancher and I was on like my 4th generation land, and I would be upset if something came onto my land that I didn't think was supposed to be there. But just the way that she went about talking about like, well, yeah, it's not our land. Like it's their land. This is their home. We should give it back to them, and we have to because it's the only way to keep this ecosystem alive in any sort of way.
Yeah, and like the stuff that she was talking about with how the like landscape has changed since they've been ranching on that area with all of the like plant species that when she was like, you know, look at the ground, like there's so many things that are happening, and like it's real, like there's so many, there were so many like little things happening. Anyway, that was pretty cool.
The museum in Browning was so cool. I was very tired and had not eaten enough, and I was very upset that we were stopping at another place. But just like those first few minutes of like walking around and being like, okay, another museum, and then kind of being rounded up by Greg. Just the way that he went about sharing this information and like the incredible detail that he knew about every single thing in that museum, like the mural on the wall and the history of it, and like every single piece and how it related to a time period or a cultural aspect or like hunting or gender roles or like the landscape was so like I was interested in it because of how he talked about it. And then we met Ernest.
And that was like so cool because we just walked into like the bathroom like hallway, and then it led to like a small sign that said like artist is here, resident artist is here, and then he was just like one of the like the coolest paintings, like modern paintings in the entire museum, and then the artist was just like chilling alone in this back room and like ready to talk to us about whatever we wanted to talk about. Like
I walked in there mid-conversation.
Yeah,
was,
same.
Like, already deep in
Izzy was there, yeah.
Whatever was going on.
So cool though.
Yeah.
Like he really had like, so Ernest, his name.
Ernest Marceau?
Ernest Marceau Jr.
Junior.
And he oh, I don't know what I was gonna say.
I mean, the one thing I remember the most was one of his paintings put it right here. One of his paintings about it was like a landscape, and it was a herd of buffalo and like warriors on horseback, like mid-hunt, but it wasn't like a complete animal or human. It was a very bright outline of those things. And I think Izzy asked him about it, and he was like, he was talking about how he wants to capture like the concrete thing, but also because it's no longer on the landscape, it's more of like the spirit of the thing, and how like that specific, I don't know, like the way he described it and the way that he was so honest about it, like this isn't the way it is anymore, but it's my culture and it's my history, and I want to share it that way and make you think about the fact that it's no longer there. It was so cool.